Amagi Metals, where financial freedom is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen McCaskill is the CEO of Amagi Metals, amagimetals.com, and really one of the few CEOs, maybe very few CEOs, that actually advocates for a complete system of capitalism. And for those of you that don't understand what that means, we can get into this, but if I may, Stephen, most CEOs understand that their bread is buttered in part by government corporatist policies. Some of them have the integrity that you do to say, you know what, that doesn't matter. I'm going to advocate for what I know is the right thing, and I'm going to work within the constraints of my principles and my morality to do a business that actually serves people. And Amagi Metals, they take cryptocurrencies for metals. That it's just an incredible. I knew this was going to happen sooner or later. You know, as soon as I heard about Bitcoin, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Now we have all this flow in this alternative money economy. So, you know, he graduated from the University of Rochester with a degree in financial economics, Kauffman Entrepreneurial Year program, and obviously it's done a lot to inspire him. 4 years ago, he started Amagi Metals, and now he serves the world with quality gold and silver at low premium prices. They were the first precious metal company to start taking cryptocurrencies for metals. And Stephen, I'm honored to have you as a supporter of the show, and excited to be able to make this connection with the audience. So thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's actually an honor to be on your show. I've watched it before, and I'm a big fan.
Well, tell me about Amagi Metals as a concept. Like when you're deciding to go into this, there are so many hurdles that you have to clear as an entrepreneur. I can't imagine how many extra forms you had to fill out because you were handling metals. Like that's, because I know how the government is trying to control that. Well, how did you see this as a viable opportunity, or did you in making that decision to start the business?
Yeah, so I started the business in 2010. And I had a huge interest in sound money and financial responsibility, which you don't really see today because of all these negative, perverse incentives that have been created by the government. So I actually did not require too much paperwork or filling out to do the business model that I wanted to do. And the major hurdle is paying for and getting AML policies in place and making sure that we are compliant with the government so they don't come and lock us up in jail. But it's actually really interesting to see how the precious metals industry works. It's very laissez-faire and works a lot on reputation when you're doing business with other vendors and individuals. And part of it is because the industry is so small, but I think that there's also has been a really good job of removing regulations from the precious metals industry. And one of those organizations is by the ICTA and the Industry Council for Tangible Assets. And compared to other industries, what it does is it legislates or tries to lobby to prevent businesses from increasing taxes and prevent businesses from increasing regulations. So really, they don't rent seek to create monopolies. What they're really doing is trying to knock down the regulations and knock down the taxes, and it's worked very well in our industry.
Well, no, that's as much as I'm surprised to hear that, it's also very encouraging to know that fighting back has that power. Do you think that's something that other industries could adopt as a model, or is it something unique to precious metals that allows them to, I don't know, hold that particular sway over government, or at least keep them at arm's length?
Yeah, I think it would depend on the industry. Well, and another benefit, we're here in Colorado. There's a very friendly out here with precious metals companies. But a perfect example of the opposite is the legalization of marijuana out here. They've regulated pot so much that the black market is still cheaper than recreational pot if you go and pay the 30% tax and all that other stuff.
Wait a second. You're saying that the government has not sufficiently made it difficult enough to do it on the black market, that it's the cost of the risk that you incur by doing business illegally with marijuana in Colorado does not outweigh the cost of doing it legally and following the regulations and jumping through all of the hoops.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all the plants here, if you want to do it legitimately, each plant has to have an RFID chip. You must submit to the government the exact steps of how you're going to produce
Wait. Hold on a second. Each plant in Colorado has to have an RFID chip?
As far as I know, each legitimate plant that's produced recreationally.
Okay. All right.
I'm not entirely sure about the medical marijuana side, and then and I don't know the exact specific regulations, but I know that they're pretty ridiculous.
No, that could really drive up the costs. Imagine that, driving people right back into the black market. But I mean, you're very fortunate you don't have to put an RFID chip in every metal coin that you ship out, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there are any threats right now, or what threat does government represent to the metals industry?
You mean, are they going to say that metals are banned again?
Well, yeah, or is there any particular legislation or fear of regulation that you think represents a threat?
Not on the horizon. I mean, I would say that things like FATCA are pushing people into precious metals and cryptocurrencies.
What was that? What was the acronym?
Can you hear me?
No, what was the acronym? FATCA?
Oh, FATCA.
Yeah, what's that?
FATCA. It's a piece of legislation that's coming out that is it primarily affects international business and Americans who want to open bank accounts abroad and deal internationally. And it's basically the incentives that are being created from this legislation is causing banks to shut down pretty much every American's bank account abroad. And causing them to freeze assets and bank accounts and create all these regulations, which in different countries based on the American government's regulations, which is ridiculous. But so I think that is putting a barrier to entry on themselves, which is just making us want to use gold and cryptocurrencies and other alternative ways to submit payments and accumulate wealth. So they're basically pushing people outside of their monetary system.
How would you say that your values shaped your business planning?
Very much so. I mean, our business has a few core values, and one of them is voluntarism. Our employees all take ownership of their own positions, and it's helped us grow a lot. We value privacy, which has been great. We value security, cybersecurity, and then the way that we transport the metals as well. And then, of course, financial responsibility. We've run our business mostly debt-free and continue to do so, and we have been very successful with that.
Wait a second. You're saying that all of your employees are on board? I mean, if you're getting them to take ownership in that sense, and I've struggled with this myself as an entrepreneur, if I may humbly say so. You know, do you hire the best people for the job regardless of their inclinations ideologically, or do you hire people that agree with the philosophy of universal nonviolence, that is voluntarism? And obviously that gives someone an edge, right? You know, if someone's a conservative and their political theory is premised on, oh yeah, it's okay to do violence against people if I don't like their behavior, you know, that's not someone that I want in my office, you know, or if it's a liberal who says, no, stealing from people is okay if they're too successful, you know, I don't want that person in my office. But, you know, having a strict litmus test, it kind of limits you.
Yeah, so we definitely just hire on skill, but we have to match that with our company culture. And when you explain to someone self-ownership and taking ownership of your position, then you can expand from there. And we certainly don't really talk about politics, but we do talk a lot about philosophy. Of course, I am an anarchist myself, but I try and focus on people skills and whether they're going to fit in our business. And part of that is, do people take responsibility for their jobs? And it's actually surprising, with a job market with so many people who are looking for jobs, that it's actually sometimes difficult to find these simple skills that people should have.
Well, I would imagine though. So at least everybody there is liberty friendly.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have any like
Yeah.
rabid conservatives or liberals or statists wandering in there going like, yeah, these crazy guys. No, I mean they're at least understanding and appreciative of this from a value perspective, right?
Yes, yes. And we've actually just teamed up with an organization called Praxis, Isaac Morehouse's project. And he connects young unskilled individuals who are looking to start a business, usually starting a business related to liberty. And we hire them as interns. And so they work for us, and the first one's starting in September, I think, but he's going to work for us for something like 10 weeks, maybe 30 weeks. I don't remember the exact length. And he picks them up from places like IHS and the Foundation for Economic Education, and students who have taken these seminars in high school and college. So we do have a strong network to recruit individuals who already have this basic understanding of individual liberty.
Now, I think there's an obvious comparison between, a small business like yours, you've got about 30 employees, versus, I don't know, I don't even know the names anymore, but some of the really like mainstream, big, well-established companies that do gold and silver. You're supporting Adam versus the man, you're espousing these values, and, they're funding Sean Hannity, on the radio, and it's sort of like, well, that if you're, and this is a really important thing for people as conscientious consumers, if you are buying your metals from a company that advertises with a certain news outlet, you're essentially helping subsidize them, and that's why an agreement like this, is a particular honor that Stephen has decided to support Adam versus the man, and I really take a lot of significance to that, because people now know when they're buying from Amagi Metals, as long as we are doing business, that they're also supporting Adam versus the man. But the flip side of this is like really be a conscientious consumer of everything else. If you go, if you shop at Walmart and you're buying mainstream products or whatever, that are advertised on cable news, on CNN, well, yeah, you're subsidizing that propaganda. And I think that's important as a conscientious consumer. But I want to point out one more thing that is really relevant to your business in particular, and to a customer going to you saying, I'm a libertarian, this is why I'm buying metals, and these are my values. And I think this is important for me, and I've bought metals from several different companies, and I've always done it because I had a personal recommendation, because I knew someone at that company who understood where I was coming from, why I was buying metals, and all of that. So for some people, they might think, oh, well, I've got $1,000 that I want to put into silver. I don't really care where I get it. I'm going to shop around for the best deal. I'm going to look around online, and I'm going to go with the bottom line, and then I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to hope that whoever answers the phone or whoever's processing that order online is going to be honest, is going to be straightforward, is going to live up to their reputation. And this isn't necessarily to belittle any of these larger companies, because they have decent reputations. They're not ripping people off, unless you think that using some of your money to subsidize Sean Hannity is ripping you off. And I would say yes, but not the same thing. But Stephen, at Amagi Metals, you have customer representatives that are not just liberty friendly, but I assume the majority of your staff is also really on board at this point and gets this. And you're able to provide a unique service that way for someone calling in. What's the advantage of talking to someone who gets where we are coming from, who understands that government is a racket when you're buying metals?
Yeah, well, at that point, I mean, we don't really have to sell anything to them. We just have to talk to them, and they get it. So I mean, there's a reason why 60% of our customers are repeat customers. They love what we have to offer and they understand it. So we don't really have to sell too much to them. We just have to offer new products when they want new products. But, we definitely compete in other ways. I don't recommend that you buy from us just because we're a liberty-oriented business. We have some of the best pricing. We ship internationally. We have great customer service. I think that there's a huge lack of not only customer service, but an understanding of technology. It's so difficult to place an order online with another precious metals company to figure out exactly what you want to buy just because they make it so complicated. And with us, we just try and make it as simple as possible. Gold is gold is gold. Silver is silver is silver. Here are the best products with the best deals, and we can definitely beat our competitors.
Outstanding. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience today?
We accept many other cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin, and we just started accepting dark coin and potcoin. And our new website is going to have a lot of new features such as market alerts, not just for traditional money such as gold and silver and platinum, but also new money such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Darkcoin. So check out our website in the next week, and it should be our new website should be launched, and that's amagimetals.com.
Awesome. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.